Winfrey wants her legacy to be. But guess what? It's not.
What?
It's not Mrs. O.
Ooh.
Because you were snookered by the biggest liars in history. And you're now trying to backtrack on those lies because you know that your reputation was shot the moment that you allowed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to try and bring down the British royal family with a tissue of untruths.
I tried so hard.
First, she reveals the interview. She hit back at suggestions that the couple didn't know what they were going to be asked. She then admitted that she had told Prince Harry and Meghan that this was all about a win-win. This is going to be good for you guys, and it's going to be good for me. So they sat down to film for the 3.5 hours, and Oprah thought that her career legacy was set. Instead, as we'll soon see, she's now desperately trying to explain why she encouraged Meghan Markle's lies rather than challenged them.
20 minutes. That's how long it took for one of the most carefully constructed celebrity images in modern history to begin its collapse. Not Meghan's, Oprah's. And the really twisted part, she might have known it the moment the cameras stopped rolling, but by then it was already too late. Before we go further, hit subscribe. You'll want to see where this ends. March 2021. While families buried loved ones they couldn't say goodbye to because of lockdowns, 2 women sat in borrowed luxury and filmed what they thought would rewrite royal history. One of them needed the world to believe she'd been destroyed by the institution she married into. The other needed something she'd been chasing for 30 years. Not truth, not friendship, access. The kind of access Princess Diana had looked her in the eye and refused. Here's what nobody talks about. Oprah Winfrey built 50 years of credibility on a very specific promise. That when you sat across from her, you weren't just being interviewed. You were being understood. Millions of people believed that. Meghan Markle bet everything on it. But what if the entire premise was a performance? What if the warmth, the nodding, and the that made Oprah a household name weren't empathy at all, but strategy? Not to comfort you. To extract from you. Let's go back. A young Oprah, hungry for the interview that would cement her as untouchable, approaches Princess Diana, not through intermediaries. Face to face, Kensington Palace. She wanted the most famous woman in the world to open up about her pain, her marriage, and her truth. Diana smiled, wrote a polite note, and said no. Why? Because, according to people who knew her, Diana could smell the transaction from across the room. She understood that Oprah wasn't offering a platform. She was offering a trade. Your vulnerability for my ratings, your tragedy for my legacy, your family is for my empire. Diana walked away. Oprah never forgot. Fast forward to 2018. Reports surfaced that Oprah had quietly reached out to Kensington Palace again, this time pursuing Prince William and Catherine. A joint sit-down, modern royals, the future of the monarchy. The answer, according to sources close to the situation, was swift and final. Absolutely not. Some insiders claim the phrase used internally was even sharper, beneath us. Not because they were arrogant, because they recognised the same thing Diana had. Oprah Winfrey doesn't do interviews. She builds narratives. And once you step into her frame, she controls how the story ends. William and Catherine never blinked, which left Oprah in an uncomfortable position for someone who'd spent decades at the top of the media food chain. Rejected, twice, by the same family. But then, in 2020, something shifted. A former actress who'd married into that same family was now living in California, isolated from the institution, frustrated, angry, and crucially, available. Oprah didn't need the future king and queen anymore. She had something arguably more valuable. A woman scorned, with a title, and a story people were already dying to hear. Here's where it gets murky. In a recent sit-down, Oprah was asked about the interview, and for just a moment, her composure cracked. She insisted the couple didn't know what questions were coming, then immediately followed with, "But I told them it would be a win-win. Good for them, good for me." Pause on that. A journalist doesn't promise a win. A journalist promises truth. But Oprah wasn't operating as a journalist that day. She was operating as a deal maker. And Meghan, she wasn't there as a whistleblower. She was there as a storyteller. Someone who understood that in the age of streaming, podcasts, and brand deals, your narrative is your currency. And if you can position yourself as a survivor of institutional cruelty, you're not just sympathetic, you're untouchable. At least that was the plan. 3.5 hours of footage, 49 million viewers, a moment that should have been Oprah's crown jewel. But here's the problem with building a story instead of investigating one. Eventually, people start checking the facts. Were you silent or were you silenced? Oprah leaned in, finger to lips, a move so theatrical it became a meme within hours. In that Vanity Fair interview, she was played the clip, and you could see it, the discomfort, the slight wince. She tried to reframe it, said it was for clarification, but clarification would have sounded like this. Who silenced you? When? What did they say? Do you have emails, witnesses? That's journalism. What Oprah did instead was direct. She fed the line, Meghan delivered it. The audience gasped. Perfect television. Terrible truth-seeking. And the cracks kept spreading. Racism allegations that were never named. A claim of a secret wedding that the Archbishop of Canterbury later contradicted. Stories about being denied help that former staff members quietly disputed. And then the big one, the bullying allegations. From multiple palace aides, documented, submitted to HR. Some reportedly left in tears. Oprah never asked about that. Why? Because it didn't fit the narrative they'd both already agreed to. Meghan needed to be the victim. Oprah needed to be the confessor. And the royals, they were cast as the villains, whether they defended themselves or stayed silent. It was a trap with no exit. Which brings us to now. Because something fascinating has happened over the last 4 years. Meghan's approval ratings have collapsed, projects have been cancelled, neighbours allegedly crossed the street. And Oprah? She's quietly rewriting her role in the story, calling it journalistic clarification, expressing subtle distance, never quite apologising, but never quite defending it either. Here's the part that should make everyone uncomfortable. Oprah Winfrey has survived decades of controversy by doing exactly this. Promote someone when it benefits her, step back when it doesn't. Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. A faith healer later accused of horrifying things. Each time, Oprah's name was attached just long enough to matter, and each time, when the fallout came, she was somehow already gone. Not because she didn't know, because she's a master at reading the room. And right now, the room has turned on Meghan Markle, which means Oprah is turning too. Let's talk about what Meghan's doing now. She flew to Australia, not for a major US network, not even a British one, MasterChef Australia, where she appeared in an immaculate kitchen, talking about how food is her love language. The same woman who allegedly reduced staff to tears is now smiling over fruit platters shaped like rainbows. It's not growth, it's rebranding. Again. Because here's what people are finally starting to realise. Meghan Markle doesn't have a fixed identity. She has adaptations. When she dated a chef, she was a foodie. When she married a prince, she started dressing like his late mother. And now, after the royalty didn't work, after the Netflix specials flopped, after the approval ratings tanked, she's back to being relatable, warm, nurturing, safe. Except the public isn't buying it anymore. And Oprah knows it. That's why, in that Vanity Fair piece, when they showed her the silenced clip, she didn't double down. She flinched, because she's realising what everyone else already has. She got used. Not by some cunning master manipulator, but by someone who saw an opportunity and took it, just like Oprah had done to dozens of guests before her. The hunter became the hunted, and now they're both trying to pretend it never happened. But the internet doesn't forget, neither does the public, and neither, it seems, do the royals. Because while Meghan and Oprah were playing their game, the people they tried to destroy did something radical. They stayed quiet. They kept working. They showed up. Prince Philip died weeks after that interview aired, reportedly heartbroken. The Queen spent her final years managing the fallout, never complained, never lashed out. William and Catherine absorbed accusations of racism and cruelty, and said nothing, because they understood something Meghan and Oprah clearly didn't. Dignity isn't loud, it's steady. And that's why, 4 years later, the contrast is so stark. On one side, a cancelled Netflix show ranked number 383, a 0% rated special, a jam brand nobody wanted, a 20% approval rating, a 45,000 signature petition saying, "We don't want you here." On the other side, a family that took the hit and kept going. So here's the question nobody's asking out loud. What if the real story of that interview wasn't about Meghan at all? What if it was about Oprah finally getting what she wanted and realising too late that it was never worth it? She chased the royals for 30 years. Diana said no. William and Catherine said no. So she settled. And in doing so, she attached her name to the single most damaging, divisive, and ultimately disbelieved royal interview in modern history. She got her win and lost her credibility. There's a reason Oprah's trying to reframe this now. It's not guilt, it's legacy management. Because she knows that when people remember that interview, they won't remember the tears or the drama. They'll remember that she let lies go unchallenged, that she chose spectacle over truth, that she used her power not to illuminate, but to perform. And Meghan, she's still out there, still smiling for the camera, still pivoting, still searching for the next person, platform, or opportunity that might restore what she lost. But here's the thing about trading your integrity for attention. Eventually, people stop watching. Not because they hate you, but because they just don't care anymore. The royal family never had to destroy Meghan Markle. She did that herself. And Oprah, she handed her the microphone. Whom? So, who used who? Drop your answer below. Hit like if this changed how you see that interview. And subscribe because we're just getting started.